And we actually lying to ourselves first. So my first thing to you is a leader born or a leader or you made a leader. What's your opinion?
Okay, the textbook and what the scholars going to tell you that you're not born a leader, that you're made a leader. Okay, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's both ways. I think you uh, um, develop into a leader, but I also think you're born a leader. And my reasoning behind that thinking is this, and my thinking goes back to religion. I think if you're called to be a preacher, um, I think that I think if you're called to be a preacher, God knew before you knew that you was going to be a preacher. So
Okay.
if you're a preacher, then you got to be a leader
Right.
because God already had that calling on your life. So I think that, yeah, I think it's both ways, man. I think you can be born. I think you can be, developed into a leader.
What what leadership traits would you consider that you possess the best, or that you have developed over the years to make you a better leader? What stood out to you when you think back on yourself as being a leader? What was it
Well,
about you?
I've always been a type person, Bert, to try to do the right thing. So integrity has always been big with me, and honesty, loyalty. I can remember. Let me give you a scenario. Well, this is actually a true story. I joined the Navy when I was 17 years old. I turned 18 years old in boot camp. When I got to the first duty station, I was stationed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I was stationed on the USS Kitty Hawk aircraft carrier. And at the time, I was 18, maybe E1, E2 rank, and I had watch. We had ship watch, and I ended up being partnered with an E4, which is like a supervisor in the Navy. So we went to the ship, and at the time, there's nobody living on the ship because the ship is going through construction. But there's millions and millions of dollars worth of equipment that's still on the ship. That's the whole reason they had different sailors to patrol this ship. So I remember we did one patrol around the ship. Now, keep in mind, the shift was like 10 to 12 hours. So we did maybe one tour of the ship, and we end up going to another space where nobody could find us. And he went to sleep, and I sat there and watched him go to sleep. And I'm scared, but I'm afraid to say something to him.
Okay.
Hold on a minute, Bert. Let me take care of something. Somebody keep calling me.
No problem. Yeah, so we as he taking a break to handle his business, that's okay. That's fine and dandy. Leadership. Right now I think I'm taking leadership over a lot of areas in my life that I'm able to step back. I had to gather myself, I had to gather my life so I can really become a leader that I was talking about and that he's speaking of. So well, I get back to that story. Mr. Nichols back, I'll let him continue.
Yeah. So, nevertheless, um, we ended up oversleeping because I ended up going to sleep too, and we ended up getting written up. Okay, but one thing about the guy, the supervisor, he went and told the truth. He said, "This young man didn't have anything to do with this. I made him do it." So that one incident, and I was able to get out. I didn't get written up for it, but that one incident taught me to always, when you know what's right, no matter who's behind you, because sometimes you're gonna have to stand alone. Bert, I've stood alone so many times, man, but I knew what I was doing was right. And a lot of times in leadership, you're gonna be standing alone, man. But you know what? one thing I realize is this: it all pays off in the end.
Right.
You know, doing right always pays off in the end. You know.
So I wanna touch on this right here about leadership. The process of influencing people by providing purpose, direction, motivation, while operating to accomplish the mission and improve the organization.
Right.
That's,
And to me, what that's saying, Bert, is this right here. A leader influences people to do what they're doing or to do what the leaders ask them to do, really without much, influence. And to me, my being a military person, to me, that's leading by example. And what we call in the Army is leading from the front. Okay, I'm not going to be able to tell you something to do something, and I'm not doing it myself.
right.
And the thing about it is, Bert, we have a lot of great leaders, man. But a lot of us are using that for the wrong thing. We're using it for the wrong thing. You think about some of the people that are incarcerated, great leaders, man, but they chose to lead to do something that wasn't positive, a lot of them,
I can touch on that.
we have, man, I'm telling you, we have a lot of brilliant people that are incarcerated, man. Brilliant.
I think when, man, I think it's so easy. I'm just speaking for my case. It's so easy to it was so easy just to go down that other path. It was a comfort zone, and
Yeah.
it was a you turn something that's fun and easy to, next thing you know, you caught up 5, 10, 15 years later and you still doing the same thing. You end up prison, you come out of prison, and your way of manipulating, that you think you manipulating people in life, you feel that, hey, this is the route. But
Mhm.
but you coming through a continuous cycle that you hurting your kids and everyone that's around you. So that was my big thing, where I had the confusion of actually being a good leader, you know what I'm saying, and
But
leading men down the wrong path, really.
let me put it to you this way, though, Bert. Not to say that you couldn't make your own mind up, but how many people older than you knew what you were doing and knew it was wrong and didn't say nothing?
A lot.
You see, that's my whole point. And I'm going to give you a quote, man. Let me give you this quote. It's by the great Congressman John Lewis.
Okay.
And he said, when you see something that is not right, that is not just, that is not fair, you have a moral obligation to do or say something. If we sit here and watch our young men do the wrong thing,
right,
and we don't do nothing about it, then we're just as guilty.
Right.
We're just as guilty, man. So, we have this thing in the Black community where we don't believe in snitching, which is, I understand that. I understand how that goes. But, at what point do you the lives of other people before something that's honored on the streets? And I'm going to tell you something. From being in law enforcement 32 years and seeing and doing a lot of things, ain't nobody at large not snitching. Somebody telling on somebody. How you think we solving crime?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I be telling people that all the time, when people be on the highway and they have they come up with this, they done got 20 or 100 pounds of marijuana off of Highway 45 or 20 in Pearl, Mississippi. Those people just ain't picking this car out and they done hit it.
No, man, they ain't that.
Right. It is not that, somebody done made somebody mad and they done went to that in that direction to, you know, expose what was going on. So
That's right.
I but really when I look back on it, man, I didn't really become a leader until about a year ago, even to be able to lead my own life properly and be a better man or person and a true godly man too. So
Well, the thing about leadership, Bert, and individuals who are striving to become, it's not an overnight thing, man.
right,
It's a development, because you got to look at it like this now. You can be a leader and have the intentions on doing everything right, but you still gonna make a mistake.
right. So as a leader, do you sit down? Do you sit down with the people you are leading and to explain your mistake that you made and see how we go move forward? Because I see a lot of leaders and you know, when you're in the workforce, something that went wrong, they pick a fall guy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
cover up their decision making. So when it came to decisions you was making, how did you come to the final decision of when you had to approach, just say the media, or not the media, your officers, your, you know, your soldiers, when, you know, when you was in the military? What was your process of thinking when you know the next day we had to address this situation?
Always be honest, man. I don't care who it hurts. If it hurts me, always be honest. Even if the repercussions are gonna fall on me.
Right,
You see, you know, my whole thing was this. When I got suspended for 2 weeks, man, you didn't hear me say one word, because
right,
I did. And you know what? I wanted my guys to see this is what you do when you get in trouble, when you make a dumbass decision.
right,
And I took my medicine. You know, that's what leadership is about to me, man. You're not gonna be perfect, but when you do mess up, you own it.
right,
Every leader, you look at all the leaders throughout history, they've made mistakes, man. They've had struggles. You know, you're looking at President Abraham Lincoln, great president, nervous breakdown, man. You
right.
know, tried to get in Congress several times before he even was able to get in there. Didn't even come close. You know, things like that. But he never stopped believing in himself and doing what he believed was right. You know, I'm gonna tell you the worst type leader, Bert.
I
The
know.
worst type leader is when we have a leader that knows that they're doing wrong and still do it because they're able to guide people and they have people following them. And that's the whole thing about being a leader, having people to follow.
Donald Trump. I was, you
Oh,
know, I was listening. I was listening to. I had to go do some work this weekend. I was listening to the story about Thomas Jefferson. I never heard it. So, but as I was, you know, 5 minutes into, I'm like, this Donald Trump.
mm-hmm.
This, you know, a narcissist. All blame is directed to other people. The lies, he come back and he's not going to admit to his lies. The killing of the economy, the everything, the bigotry, everything, you know. But
Let me share with you what I have in my notes. Okay, another characteristic of a leader is willing to stand alone. I've already covered that. Being considerate of others' feelings. I think that's a big thing. You can apply that to today, what's going on today. We wouldn't have a racial problem if you consider other people's feelings.
right.
And when you don't, that's not good leadership. And let me give you another quote, man. Speaking of the person name you just called.
Okay.
This quote it's from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay.
It says, "The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in a period of moral crisis, maintain their neutrality. There comes a time when silence is betrayal." Now, you can apply that to a lot of stuff, man. You can apply it to a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of stuff that's going on within the African American community, we can stop it, you know, but we won't. We want to be neutral, you know, because it may involve us talking about somebody or saying something about somebody who's really bringing us down, but we would stay neutral. So at what point do you step up as a leader, man, and say, look, I can't allow this to happen in my community. Don't wait till it happens to your family.
Right.
You know, that's what we like to do, man. I don't know how many times I've seen that. You know, you ain't no snitch until it comes to your family. When your family gets victimized, then you want to come up and put foot in my butt because we ain't all the time.
Right. You know? They calling everybody to get your personal number.
Right. You know, leadership, man, is very broad.
Right.
But I love talking about it because, you know, I love when you're being a leader, you're being the best that you are. And I like seeing everybody being the best who they are, you know? Be the best you, man.
When you got the title, the first African American police chief in Starkville, Mississippi, what leadership skills that you knew you had to bring to the, I mean, they was already there, you know, the people that you work with, your colleagues, they seen it, but where did you know that, hey, I really got to step my leadership skills up in these 3 areas to make this organization go like it's never been seen before in life?
First one is communication.
Right.
Okay. Man, I can remember being a captain and not even knowing what's going on at the police department because it was purposely kept away from people like me. Because I was going to be the person that speaks out against it. So, because I didn't feel like it was right. I feel like it was only benefiting a certain group or area of people within the city. Okay. So community is big. I knew that everything I did, Bert, I had to be an open book with it. You know, whatever goes on in that police department, I wanted the public to know about it. And that's the reason I started social media and stuff like that. Of course, everybody got social media now.
Right.
But I started here in Oktibbeha County, you know, because I wanted everybody to know what's going on. The Black community had no idea what was going on, man.
Yeah.
We were being ran amok, I'm telling you, because we wouldn't ask questions.
Right. We don't come
because we're not going up there messing with that man.
Right.
You know, so you gotta have communication, man. And you gotta be, the next thing, you gotta be honest. I knew I had to be honest and I had to be straight up with all my guys as well as the public. You know, and as I said earlier, integrity, man. You know, integrity, that right there, you know, to me, that right there covers a lot of other stuff that I've already said.
Right.
You know, so you got to have integrity, Bert, and that's one thing that that's been missing from law enforcement. Because if you had leaders, okay, on that scene where George Floyd was,
right,
you would still be living. Because they saw this was wrong, but they sit there and let this happen. You know, what does that say about their integrity when they know it's wrong? And integrity is about what you're doing when somebody else is not looking. You know, you've gotten away with this stuff so long that you continue to do it, even though you know it's wrong.
Right.
So I had definitely those 3 things right there, man. You know, I had to be a good communicator. You know, I had to have, be honest, and I had to have integrity, you know.
So talk about the styles of leadership, the 3 major styles of leadership.
Man, I'll never forget, that was one of the questions that I was asked on the interview board when I interviewed for chief. And the way I answered the question was this: you got 80% of the leaders or people in leadership position that are most what we call, you know, laissez-faire, you know, just whatever goes on, kind of let the thing handle it, you know. And then you have another 10% or so that's authoritative,
Right.
and
Dictator.
they want to micromanage, and they want to know everything that's going on, when they want to be in that decision-making process and not trust their people. Okay. And then you have a leader who, practices democracy, who's democratic. He says, hey, let's talk about this. Why you want to make this decision?
Right.
So my answer to that interview board was, okay, when it's time for me to be authoritative, I will be authoritative, but that's not my style. When it's time for me to be laissez-faire, I will do that, but that's not my style. I'm more of a tell me why you did that type person. And then if I see that you're making a mistake, I'm not going to sit there and watch you make the mistake, Bert.
Right.
I'm going to find out why you're doing it, but I'm going to stop you.
Right.
And I'm going to find out a person's mind and say, why are you doing this? Are you doing this to be negligent openly? Or are you doing this because you don't know? Exactly. And if you don't, my job as a leader to make sure that you know the right way to do this. So I think you have to be a mixture of all of them, like this diagram I got, but you have to meet up in the middle, man. You got to know when to be authority. You can't, because you as a leader, you're going to get challenged, man. You're going to get challenged. And you can't let that soldier or that sailor or that officer come in your office and tell you what they ain't going to do. So at that time, you need to be authoritative. You let them know, no, you are going to do it. So you got to be a mixture.
Right. I mean, you actually have some people that just bold to walk into your office and say, hey, I ain't doing it that way.
Yes, Bert. Listen, what y'all see on the street out of officers, they ain't just doing it on the street now. They do that same stuff up in that station. Or at least they try. You can ask any supervisor at Starkville Police Department when I was there, what was my main quote that I told them every staff meeting? My main quote to them, it was two of them. Okay. First one was, there's no right way to do the wrong thing.
Okay.
And the second one was, supervise all the time. Okay. Meaning, you got these stripes, you got these bars, you got these stars, you got, that crow on your collar because you are a supervisor. If you be on that scene, like with the George Floyd, if you on that scene and you allow that to happen, you are guilty. I've written up people just standing around looking at stuff because you was there, and you don't know somebody with stripes on your arm, and you there, even though you didn't do it, you sat there and watched them do it.
Wow.
So yeah, I've had to write. You're not going to be popular as a leader either, man, especially when it comes to situations like that. Because I was dealing with situations like that, 3-4 years ago, where I got officers standing around watching other officers do. I started writing them all up.
That changed the landscape?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. One or two things going to happen, Bert, in a situation like that.
Right.
They're going to come and start doing their job, or, well, three things. They're going to get fired or move to another department where they can go and do what they want to do. And that's the problem with law enforcement. You have a bad apple, but everybody is short. So what they'll do, they'll just go from one department to another because they're going to hire them because they got to have people.
Right. So how, in your opinion, if you are able to answer this question, it's a little off the subject, but I always wanted to know after I did some reading. Is the police union's contract really that jacked up, the reason that officers, like you said, are able to just switch stations and the protections they have from the union contracts with these police stations, the reason that this injustice continues to happen?
I'm going to say this, because the city of Starkville Police Department is not under a union. nor Secret Service, civil service.
Right.
Okay, we're governed by the Board of Aldermen. The Board of Aldermen make decisions. Okay, and the mayor. Okay, the mayor is a direct supervisor over all of the department heads and the people that works on them. Okay, but Board of Aldermen makes the decisions. Okay, the mayor couldn't find nobody if she wanted to, but she can recommend it to the Board of Aldermen, and if it's 4 votes, then it'll happen because they make that decision.
Okay. So in that case, that's the unions are really dealing with bigger cities, bigger stations, bigger entities like that.
Well, I would say yes to that. But even though, civil service is something kind of like that in a way. Columbus, I think, still has civil service, but as far as I know, Starkville never has civil service. But those police unions, what you got to realize is this: those police unions are controlled by who? Retired police officers.
Mm.
Know each other.
Right.
You look at the leadership in most of these police unions. They're retired police officers, man. Just changed over and they start got this job over here after they retired being a police. So that's all they are. That's all these unions are, man.
Wow.
And then, it's disappointing that a lot of these unions sit right here and watch these same videos that we watch, man. And they still stick up for these officers that are crooked. That's a shame right there. And it's just great.
How that makes you feel with 32 years in law enforcement that they see the same thing how you envision it because y'all went through about the same training. You done been through it, intense training. You done been to FBI training. You on the top level. You the president of Mississippi, so you topped out. When you see what you seeing through your eyes of 32 years, what are they seeing different that you are seeing that come to the conclusion of, as a leader, come to the conclusion of they're not, they good, they didn't do anything wrong? Or is it just a PR stunt that they putting on?
A lot of it has to do with, of course, money. What you got to realize is this: these people who are in these unions and leadership are voted in by the police officers.
Oh.
And a lot of these people are getting paid, so they're gonna protect them whether they're right or wrong, man.
So we doomed regardless.
Mm-hmm. Unless we get some non-biased people in news, man. And and some of these larger cities, man, Philadelphia, New York, places like that, those unions are some of the most powerful people in that state, man. They're connected to senators and all kind of stuff.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but that's just and that's the reason I'm in favor of police reform, man. Because you're gonna do what you're allowed to do. Right. And right now, the current Constitution allows for them to do some of this stuff. If they cut this out and change that, then that would put the penalty on these crooked cops, and they would start going to prison. But right now, we leaving the door open for them to say, okay, and this is the one thing they're gonna use: he or she put me in fear of my life.
Right.
And as long as they can articulate that, the U.S. Constitution says they're justified in using deadly force. So the only thing you got to be able to do is convince somebody of that, and you're covered.
Let's speak on the Army values.
Mm-hmm.
LDRSHIP.
Yep.
Can you explain that to the people who don't understand it, what it stands for, the L,
Yeah. The Army has what we call Army values. And of course, you're taught this stuff constantly because everything evolves. So you start getting taught this stuff when you go to boot camp. But throughout your military career, this stuff is going to be brought up to you. And what it is, Army values, they use the acronym leadership, but they don't spell out leader. What they use is they use the L in leader, they use the D, and they use the R. Then they spell out the ship. Okay. And what it stands for is the acronym for the L stands for loyalty. You know, that's one thing, man. I think, you know, whether you're on a job, in your household, in your community, we don't have that a lot no more, man. You know, loyalty went out the door a long time ago for a lot of us, man. Because if it comes down to you or me, I'm choosing me instead of doing the right thing.
Right.
You know, you think about this. If you're sworn to do a job, if you're sworn to hold a position, whether you're a state representative, congressman, police chief, alderman, mayor, you've got to be loyal to the value of whatever office you're holding. Okay. When you go to do stuff on your own, then you're not being loyal to that position, man. Do you think those officers that watched George Floyd, that man killed George Floyd, do you think any kind of loyalty was in there? No, because they're supposed to be protecting him. That's your job, to serve and protect. So the L stands for loyalty. The D stands for duty. Basically, you know, just doing your job the proper way. You know, doing your job the way you was taught to do it, doing your job the way it should be done. The R stands for respect. You know, you got to have respect, man. You know, and that goes both ways. And remind me to tell you about, after I get through telling about this, I'm going to tell you about an acronym that I made. Okay, and the S stands for selfless service. You know, that means you'll put yourself last, man, to make sure that you are providing somebody with the proper service. The H stands for honor, and the I stands for integrity, and the P stands for personal courage, okay? But let me tell you something. When I took over as chief, one of the first things I did was rewrite the mission statement of the Starkville Police Department. The one they're using right now, I wrote that mission statement. And it came from my heart because I wanted something that's gonna cover everybody, man. You know, I'm not, like I told somebody this a long time ago, I'm not a police chief for Black folk. I'm a police chief for everybody.
Right.
You know, I gotta see that everybody, you know, is treated fairly. But first thing I did was rewrite that mission statement. Second thing I did was I made this acronym. I made every officer learn it. I put it on everything we had, pamphlets. So if you see the word pride with Starkville PD, I made that acronym up, man. The thing about it is that mission statement, this acronym, this stuff was given to me by the Lord before I became chief.
Right.
I just wrote it down and kept it in my arsenal because for years.
Right, for years, right.
So you see that word pride, that acronym is for, the P stands for professional, the R stands for respectful, the I stands for integrity, the D stands for dedicated, and the E stands for ethical. They're still using that to this day. We had none of that stuff before I took over, man, because we was governed pretty much by the good old boy system. But nevertheless, I'm not here to talk about nobody or nothing like that, because when God gives you a vision, it ain't for you to turn around and say what somebody else didn't do. It's time for you to do when you're in that position, do what you got to do.
It's time to go to work.
It's time to go to work, man.
Time to put the boots on, strap them up.
That's it, man. You think about this word. Look at it this way. If we had more leaders in this world, this world would be a better place. Think about it.
I know. That's why I had to. That's why I had to. I had to come over to the other side. I was tired of man, I bull crap so long, man. If I could get a pension and retirement plan off of being in the streets and doing, boy, I'm telling you, I'd be on it, Frank. I'd be, I'd be kicked back. I'd be good, But it was good to is feel. I'm just in the beginning stage. Don't get me wrong. I'm just in the, just a rookie of actually coming and fully following God and what He's telling me to do and how to do it. I I could have failed victim, but I haven't. I've been holding strong. I've been.
But the thing I've talked to a lot of people, Bert, just like you, man. They got great minds that incarcerated or has incarcerated, and I take the time to talk to them. Not to point fingers or anything, but just to understand their mind. And the one thing a lot of them told me, the reason why they no longer live in that life is because of one word. Well, a couple words, 3 words: peace of mind. They got shoulders, man. They got tired of worrying about somebody gonna kick the door in on their wife and kids. It was all about peace of mind, man. Peace of mind goes a long ways.
I told myself I ain't gonna cry today, so I ain't gonna cry. But that was a major factor, bro. I'm I tell the story, people don't believe. It was just it was really, I ain't gonna lie. I told the story the first time we talked. Anytime I called you, it was never. It's just what you need, okay. Cause I just believe now, after you probably retired, people who ever been listening or seeing on Facebook, that finally been the acknowledgement of that we are family. But I never in my life took advantage of that. I never told people about it. I never nothing negative towards that. You know what I'm saying? I probably got your number, what it was 5-6 years ago when my daughter, was missing. And I probably didn't use your number again until I needed you to write a letter for me to the board of the insurance people, for a recommendation because of my past. So, but you have always I don't know I don't know what you've seen, what I'm saying, for you to bless me with, what I'm saying, to those opportunities, those chances, because it's hard to, to make those calls and to get that pen work. It's hard. Well, let me put it like this. It's hard for a great leader, a great person that's highly recommended them to put their name on the line for somebody to, let's be honest, this nigga will go up and mess up again. And I'm putting my neck out there. So,
I'd rather err on the side of helping you and you mess up and screw up my name, and, saying, hey, this man, I'd rather err on the side of caution, of helping you.
Right.
Because you didn't do that.
Oh, no.
And let me tell you another story. When you called me, of course, I was in Starkville, Mississippi. I was the chief of police here.
Right.
I know you're not in Carolina, but is anything you can do for me?
Right.
I told you, give me a few minutes.
Right.
I picked and I called one of my FBI classmates. Right. And he was so happy to hear from me. He said, Frank, whatever I got to do, I promise you, we're going to have this baby. We're going to find this baby. And it wasn't long after that when I text you back and said, everything is good. But I said it to say this right here. That man that I called, okay,
right,
that was in the FBI with me,
right,
he was a stupid dude, man, that people kind of shunned away from in the FBI Academy. But I didn't.
Right.
Man, And that's the way I treated him.
Right.
So he never forgot that. So you think about if I had treated that man the way some of the other people did.
Right.
Pick that phone up and call that man. No.
Right.
No.
Cause that was a hell of a I left on that Sunday. I got a call that it was 6:30 our time, 7:38 time. I was in, Texas. I ended up in Charlotte about 10 o'clock daytime. And it was so much of to me, what I looked at it was as, man, ain't nobody doing shit.
Yeah.
Everybody standing around looking like to me it's like felt like this is a Sunday barbecue or something. It was yeah, you got her mom and the grandmama, they concerned, but it's not like, then I'm looking, what the police said, ain't nobody.
Yeah.
What's it's like y'all can't just accept what they saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know I don't know nobody around here, but let me make a call. Let me get something. See, and it was just like I say, I thank you, man. It was even back to then when we fast forward, when I was, I went in there, I took that test. And what I studied for, one of them about 25 questions on that. The other 125 I had to, use this brain that God gave me. But anyway, I passed the test. It was, it wasn't that, just common sense stuff. Then I was sitting there waiting and waiting. I'm like, man, I know I passed the test because they give you the answers they give you your results when you finish.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me call these folks, see what's going on. They started talking about something back in 1997. I said, 97. She asked me, do you remember doing such and such? I wasn't being funny or trying to lie. I was like, no, ma'am. Because I did so much. I had did so much from when I was 16 to 18, really it started before then, about 15 to 18. I can't even, then you be in a situation, I don't want to tell on my damn self, but, I couldn't remember. But then you have to understand, like and people don't believe this, I haven't, actually committed a crime since 1998. And we talking about 2000 and what there's about 3-4 years ago. We talking about 2015, 16, I contacted you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had, to forget that life. I had, but in another thing, as a leader, what you told me, I can tell the people, because I know you don't mind me telling. You like, cuz you need to get your business straight so that won't pop up.
Right.
When you're dealing with the different states, you say you need to get your business straight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just, the leadership that you have always displayed throughout the community of Starkville, the leadership that anything. There's a lot of behind the scenes work people don't know that you do.
I'm not looking no credit for that, of course. If I can do it, I'm gonna do it. But I tell you, being a leader ain't always comfortable, man. I don't know how many times I've sat at home disappointed because I've heard somebody say this, that, and the other about me that was not true. And then you don't even know the full story.
Oh, man.
And that's the kind of stuff right there that kind of hurts you,
right,
because you don't have an intent to hurt nobody.
Right.
But like I said, every decision I made wasn't the best decision. But when I made the decision, I wasn't intending on for it to hurt anybody or backfire anybody. But you know how stuff goes sometimes, man.
Right. That's life, though.
Life, brother.
That's life. But I'd rather take that opportunity, that chance of being in that position every time than to be led by a damn fool.
Mm-hmm.
In it. I'd rather be led by Frank, knowing that 9 times out of 10, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna hit, he gonna put us in a situation that we're gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if we gotta bite the bullet for one time. I mean, but everybody's looking for perfection from others.
Yeah.
But you can't tote that load also. You can't handle that pressure. It was Cause November was a changing point for me. Past November, just tell the truth. I was sitting in my car, I was crying, and I still had been doing some little slick stuff, and so I pulled up. As I pulled up at the crib, God told me right then and that point in time. He said, "If you don't stop, you're going to prison."
Mm-hmm.
So I look over there, I wondered if I was, I know, I know nobody went in my passenger seat, but when you get connected with God, it's like, he riding with you, but it's like he right there. Go
Yeah.
to prison. I'm like, no, I can't do that right there no more. I can't handle that again. I
Yeah.
can't, anything that's dealing with a system, I can't do that no more. So I made a decision right there in November to let it all go. And I cried like a baby because I had been doing something that had to do with something that wasn't always right since I was probably about 13 years old. So being able to step away fully and knowing that, because I had lost everything because I was a poor leader. I wasn't able to lead my kids properly. I wasn't able to lead my family properly. I wasn't able to, fully be, a man of dignity, pride, integrity, all of that.
Let me ask. Let me ask you. I know you're doing an interview, but let me ask you this.
Finally, somebody asked me something.
You feel like you're using your leadership abilities in a proper form now? I'm gonna answer for you. Yes. And one example is all this stuff that you're doing right here with your podcast. And I said all this to say this. God bless you with that ability. And to me, that's why I can argue the fact some people are born leaders. You were born a leader, but you ran from it. But guess what God gonna do? He gonna make you accept it one way or another now. You gonna accept prison or you gonna accept it in the grave?
Right.
That reminds me of another young man. Okay. Mr. Edwards.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I've been knowing him ever since he was a little kid.
Right.
He's always been a great person, a good leader. But he did some of the same things you did. And he is where he is now.
Right.
He feel like it's fair. But just looking at his background since he's been there.
Right.
Look what he's doing. He's a teacher. He's teaching GED. He's barbering, mentoring people.
Right.
And all this from day one.
Right. See, Frankie, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
See, it's hard when you free Sharon Edwards, Boucher, the man, 2 sentences, 1 crime. His mama, Miss Willeen, and his siblings, Rodney, Mika, Greg, there's a lot of them. They ready for that man. Good people. They ready for that man to come home, man. He done brought everything to the table. People don't understand. People don't understand how you can go into a facility, a cage.
Mm-hmm.
You're around 100, 200, 300, 400 people you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Every day, every second, your life is on the line. Anything can jump off. Anything can be a war. A desert storm war. Yeah, you got bullets flying over there, but you got knives and you got different. It's a war zone.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to be able to survive it physically first, then you got to think about the mental aspect of 20 years, 21, 22 years of people telling you when to get up, when to shower, when to eat, how to do this. You got to watch these people that's out. You got to watch the guards. Man. Man, it is a place that if you're not an animal and if you're not mentally strong, if you don't have the when you come out, is Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lord have
You
mercy.
know, the thing about it though, Bert, if we as African Americans would stop glorifying going to prison,
Oh,
I think our young men would at least think about it. When I was coming up, I was scared to go to jail, man. You know, I was scared my mom gonna kill me, and my grandmamas and my uncles, them, my daddy. You know, by the time they get through with me, then I had to go there. You know, but they gonna do something to me,
right.
and that's the way. Nowadays, it's like it's glorified. You know, I went down there.
Right.
You know, you get a person that's graduated from school, from college. You know, he or she might have 10, 20, 5, 10 people there to support him. But you get out of prison, we having a block party. I'm not saying don't celebrate it, but sometimes what we got to do is we got to look at the other side too. You know, we got to encourage our kids to do the right thing and reward them for that too now. So, but yeah, Mr. Edwards, you know, I'm in support of him. Definitely, man. I mean, he's done his thing, and I'll say this right here. You know, I remember a case very, very vividly. I mean, where a young man was driving a car with his friends in it. He wrecked the car and killed him. At least one of the people in the car.
Right.
And he left the scene.
Right.
This man was in law enforcement. He was drunk.
Right.
But he back to the scene. Nevertheless, he didn't get indicted on it. He didn't get 40 years.
Right.
He didn't get 40 years.
Right. Right.
He killed somebody.
Right. Right.
You know?
Right. It's crazy, man. I don't know. I just knew. I knew from that conversation back to what happened in November. I ain't want no part of that. No, man. I have too much of. Too much to live for and too much to do now. You know, I wanted to just really try this other side. You know, when I can see pictures of, you know, you suave, you looking, you know, you looking good, you in your suit, your bow tie, you ride, you making speeches, you on TV, you represent, you can see Milton, you can see, I mean, you can just see different people who doing positive things, and to not be I'd rather be aligned with those people than standing in the line talking about it's time for you to shower. You know, any day.
A lot of it goes back to this too, Bert. You know, saying birds of the feather flocks together, you know. So, you know, the friends that I have, which, you know, I consider, you know, a very small group, what I call friends.
Right.
These are people that got the same mindset that I got and think the same way I'm.
Right.
You know, nobody, you know, plotting to rob no bank.
Exactly.
You know, so I don't care who you are.
Right.
You get mind in the world. If you're in that environment and you put yourself there,
right,
you need to get yourself out of it.
Right. I know. And you're right. That's why, you know, we text or we inbox, me and Milton, and, you know, I had to change my whole everything because I had lost everything running, doing this and that. Don't get me wrong, I had fun, which I thought it was fun, but, you know, it was crazy, man. My life been so much better since January. I can't even, you know, I be about to cry every time I, you know, talk about it to,
well, Bert,
I'll tell you how crazy God is with leadership, right? I apologize for cutting you off. You know, after the George Floyd, I know you spoke on George Floyd a few times. Mm-hmm. So I was at this job, right? And we was talking. I was talking to the Hispanic guy and this black guy. We was just talking about, you know, hey, man, aren't you tired of us? You know, what's going on with us and everything. And so we talked about 5 minutes before I left. I turned around. I said, hey, Carlos, you know, if any of them, you know, MS running my house or do something, I'm going to kill all of them. I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready. For real, I'm ready. Man, the next day I went to lunch. I came back from lunch, Frank. So I pull in the parking lot. I see two police cars over there, but I'm thinking, I ain't did nothing, I don't owe nobody nothing, I ain't did nothing. So I'm getting ready to go in the building. The general manager, warehouse manager come out. They fired me right there. Say you had threatened somebody. I said threaten. It never, registered in my mind that because I didn't threaten him personally. I didn't say, hey, if you run it, but anyway, this happened about 2-3 days from my birthday that just passed. So I was like, man, I didn't lost this good job. But I wasn't tripping because, I've been doing right by God.
Right.
So I went to Memphis, I come back. I filled out a lot of applications. I had an interview. I was dressed, my grandma and dad always told me, boy, you better, dress right when you go talk to these folk now. So I was dressed. So Frank, I get to the interview now. So me and the HR manager, we sit down. She say, tell me how, let me say how crazy that is. Tell me how your skills relate to this job that you applied for. Now, let me tell you how God is so real.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I told this woman?
What?
I asked for this woman, can you tell me what I applied for? I had forgot. I knew I needed some work. I was just, online, but I knew my resume lined up with it. She said, shipping manager. I said, oh, okay, I can talk about that. So boom, got a job. Let me walk you to your office and blah, blah. I said, my office, hold on. I know I need to get out these bad feet, boy. I know I'm rolling now. I done got a badge and a key to my own. We sure know. But it's just to speak on how we talking about earlier, man, how God, when you align yourself with God, and when you align yourself of doing right, or when you align yourself with honesty and, your pride that you talk, your values are right. Your value. I knew a year ago, man, that wouldn't happen for me.
Let me tell you, Bert. God ain't through with you, bro.
I know.
Now, the Bible talks about God putting you a few things to see how you're going to do, then he'll make you rule over many things. Okay? Now, God ain't through with you yet. And I heard this quote a long time ago. I never forgot it. And the quote is, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the ones he called.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You make a person over here with a resume looks real good.
Right.
But yet your resume don't look half as good, but you're going to do better by that job than that person will.
Right.
And that's the Lord, man. The Lord can use anybody. He can use Solomon. Think about it now. Use Moses. So the Lord can use anybody, Bert. And that's why you need to you need to get comfortable being who you are now.
Right.
And don't feel guilty about the past, bro.
Right.
Because you know what? God lets you live long enough here because he has a purpose for you. Because he could have killed you a long time ago, Bert.
Come on now.
So you need to feel guilty about that.
Now,
put that stuff behind you. God got something to look forward, and you need to ask God, what is it that you got for me to do, man? Because, and you better be willing now to do it if you're asking now.
Yeah, I already know.
He's gonna lead you.
Because I know if he wrote with David, you talk about David in the Bible, this and that. I know because David, woo, I ain't had nothing on David. If he can roll with David, I know he'll roll, you know what I'm saying? He'll, and David wrote the whole Psalms, the whole book of Psalms. Mm-hmm. So I feel
Look at Solomon. He's the smartest man in the history of the world.
Right.
So
I guess you say that he got some funny. You say that, I'll tell everybody. First of all, I want to thank y'all for joining us. This Mississippi Vibes with Bert, the Redemption Summit. I have the man, I call him the Obama of Starkville, Mississippi, the first ever. And I think it'll be the last. Hope not, but it'll be the last police chief African-American that ever held that position. He held it with he held it to he brought our police force to high standards. You know, Mr. Frank Nichols. You know,
Appreciate that.
man, he 32 years of service. You know, he's been doing this since 17 years of serving our country and the city of Starkville. So it big ups to him. Hey Frank, I appreciate what you just said. I'm tell you something I never thought I would do. I always wanted to do.
What's that?
I wrote a
What's
book.
That? Hey, God ain't finished, man.
I wrote a book. It's called Redemption. So everybody, my book will be dropping in December. Show your boy some love. You know what I'm saying? And it's called Redemption. I started the book from when I was 13 years old on the hill,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I started from there. You know, I talked about sexual abuse. I talk about me being a sex addict. You know, I talk about
Yep.
me being a failure as a father, being a failure in relationships with with women and my family and friends. I talk about how even you would remember you was on the force, the destruction I brought through to the community, the shame I brought on my family of being my mom being the first African American woman to own a jewelry store and record store in Starkville. My father carrying on the family traditions since 1941 of owning a funeral home, and just me as being a lost child and I never felt wanted
Yeah.
by my family. So I always carried the thing in my mind. I always wondered why I wasn't good enough to be with my mother and siblings. So that took me on a journey of it took me on a wild ride, Frank.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can understand.
you seen it, you read about it. I know, even like I told the first time we talked, I remember you even, arrested me one time, but it had to be what it had to be. You gotta do your job. But so as I wrote this book and I want to thank, what I'm saying, on the new job I got with my office, my office job. I wrote a book.
Congratulations.
Right. Yeah, it's called Redemption. I'm releasing it in December, so I want y'all to show your boy some love. It's a very deep book. It's a book I wanted people to understand, what redemption was, how you can make mistakes and how you can overcome and you can redeem yourself. And so, yeah. Yeah.
You have a great ability where to pull people into you. If you show up in a room, people naturally want to be around you. They want to hear what you got to say, because a lot of times you're gonna say some funny stuff and they want to laugh, and you're just a cool dude to be around. And I'll give you a case in point of that. Just from a conversation on Facebook, you and Don Strickland, Big D, put together probably one of the biggest functions we're probably gonna have in Starkville with that barbecue contest.
Right.
And that's because of both guys' leadership, man. It only took that much for you guys to take that thing and run with it.
Don can't cook, though.
And I've been admired for what y'all are doing with it, but that's just a small testament of the leadership ability that you have.
Right. Man,
don't limit yourself to nothing, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If you had told me in 1987, when I graduated from Starkville High School, I had a point less than what I had out of flunk, that I was gonna be the first black chief, that I was gonna have 3 college degrees, I'd have told you on crack. But all those things happen. I'm gonna tell you why they happen. They happen because I accepted the vision God had put in my head and was constantly giving me. Don't limit yourself, man. If God's telling you that you need to run for mayor, whatever it is.
Right.
If you, that means he's preparing you for it. He preparing you for something.
He saved me up. Did you just say you was running for mayor?
No, I said he.
Hey, I know Don probably watching. Don can't barbecue though. That man done went and got a grill. You done tricked that man to buy him a grill, customized grill. Don can't barbecue, man. That's why you barbecuing all that meat up every weekend. That's my dude, though. Me and Don, we've been family a long time, man. His grandmama grew up. I grew up the street. Our grandparents, stayed across the street from me.
Yeah.
So I've been knowing them, Miss Roxy and all them for.
Yeah, all them good people.
Oh,
all them good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got some things coming down the pipe, man. I just been working. The pandemic has been good to me. I still got a long way to go. I still got to get, become a better father, a better overall man, a better dude who, I can handle this addiction now because it was out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wild ride. I get a lot of inbox from people, especially Friday when I put up that stuff about the 7 myths of a male that's been sexually abused. I never felt comfortable like this, talking about it. I was always ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Then I never felt that people would understand.
You'll be surprised the people that you talk to every day, male, that's been sexually abused. You will be surprised. I'm not.
Right.
Because I see it. Because if a lot of reports and stuff like that was taken,
Yeah.
So, but man, this stuff happens in the Black community all the time. But the thing about it is nobody has the nerves or bold enough to talk about it.
That's why I'm here. Somebody had to do it.
It don't make you no less of a person to be a victim because you couldn't help yourself.
Right.
So that don't make you a lesser person. That makes you a better person because you survived it. You know, how many people has gone through that and taken their own life because they didn't know how to handle it?
I was there.
I know it.
I was there a few times. I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to, I had destroyed so many people, so many women. I destroyed my family. I destroyed, my kids because I was actually just sick.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that brought me peace, who's the next woman I can have sex with. It was always a thing that was on my mind. It was always whatever it was always sex. Man, I can be engaged with sex with one woman and think about, I got another 3:00 appointment. I got let me go and get finished with this right here. Because I got somewhere else to go and somewhere else to do. So but the biggest thing about it, I remember talking to my brother in St. Louis that we go and we say negative stuff about women who give themselves away, but we do the same thing to ourselves. That's I was talking to him about myself, how we disrespect ourselves. We have no self-love. We have no self, no self anything. And so I had to, I had to put it in a book, man. I couldn't, say everything and just come full circle. It was, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be.
The thing about it is, I don't know if you watch Greenleaf or not.
Yeah, I haven't in a while. I used to.
Okay. One of the last episodes that I saw was, of course, Grace found out that she had a son, and this young man ran away. I mean, he ran away again. Of course, he's grown. And then, of course, when they catch up with him and find out why he ran away, is because he was raped in prison. and he ended up contracting HIV. You know, but in a way, I was glad that came out in that series because we got people around here the same way.
Right.
Don't know how to.
Right.
You know, so you got to be able to talk about it. God spared you for a reason. You're a testimony. You know, and that go back to the original subject, leadership. That's a leader in you to write that book. Because I know I made about no dollars and cents with you. You know, it's because the thing about it is.
Because I went and dug up some old money. I got some 1996 money. We had to hire some money. Boy, Dad didn't do the paperwork right, so I had to go dig up some old money on them. So,
well, you for a good cause.
Right.
You use cause, man.
Right. Wow.
You know?
I said I won't go cry, but you know.
Hey, bro, listen. If you are a man and you said you don't cry, if I feel, I'm not gonna be trying to boohoo in public now.
I ain't gonna go that far now.
My house, and the Lord way, man, I'll cry. That don't make me less than a man.
Right, I ain't gonna have the snot coming down my nose. I gotta, Right. Yeah, you make sure you cut the Zoom off. Man. Hey, it's been great, man. Mississippi Vibes with Bert. I know we was talking about leadership, but I guess everything as the chief, he's still our number one guy. You know, all it came full circle. I'm gonna say this. I got much love and respect for you.
Thank you, brother. Same here.
Thank you, man. We have to, people around the world. I know we got some Charlotte people, some Mississippi people, wherever you are. We have to protect our leaders like Frank was, So I'm trying to get him back to become mayor, but he's waiting on God to lead him in the next area. I know he's ready to cut me out. One thing I'm telling y'all about Frank, when he get ready to say something, y'all, he go lean forward in that chair or wherever he's sitting there, so he can square his body up on you, so he can bring it from his stomach, so you can know he's serious about what he about to say. And I already know what he gonna say. I'm waiting on God to tell me where to go, and until then, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy this retirement and continue to do stuff. But
I do this before I leave. Issue one challenge to the African American community. Okay, God gave you a purpose. Okay, I challenge you to step up and use your purpose. And stop letting people distract you, detour you. We can't depend on somebody else to make our community better when we have all assets. Okay. Used to be, we used to always saying it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And that's the way I grew up. I stayed, both my grandmoms raised me just as much as my parents raised me. My auntie raised me just as much as, nowadays, I can be that child's uncle. That could be my brother's child, but I can't tell him nothing or tell her nothing. Right. Because that's the way we made that rule. Don't tell my child nothing. You come tell me.
I ain't got to tell the damn child bad. That little knucklehead was bad before you send him out. You knew what was going on. So why you mad at me because I'm trying to discipline my blood, even if it's not my legal blood? Why are you upset? And I know I'm telling your kid right of what to do. I just had this conversation yesterday. Everything is so wild now. Everything is so. You gonna fight me as a parent because I'm telling you, your child just came and cussed me out and told me.
I'm gonna say this right, and I know this might be a little bit, but at this point in the world, not just the United States, in the world, I think as African Americans, we've captured the attention of everybody.
Right.
What we do at this point, moving forward, is very vital.
Right.
We can be distracted with that clown in the White House.
Right.
And get about hey, we still got a real issue out here.
Right.
And then end up next year, we done forgot everything that we talked about this year.
Right.
In order for us to do that, man, we got to, one, stick together.
Right.
We got to, two, put our differences aside.
Right.
Okay. And we got number three, get it out your heart not to want to see your next black man do good or your next black woman. You know, you rather see somebody white or anybody else besides somebody may live down the street from you do good because you're not doing good. And the chances are you're not doing good because you haven't put forth the effort. It ain't because you ain't got it in you.
Right. Right.
No effort toward more stuff than mess.
Right.
On the internet, on Facebook, mess. And that's all. You wake up for mess. You wake up to call somebody for mess. If you took that same energy and applied it toward the betterment of our people,
yeah,
where could we be?
We can be at the top. We are the pinnacle. We are the superior race. If we wasn't as tough and sharp, when I say tough, I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about mentally. If we wasn't that, you think these people be attacking us? Do you think they would make the laws to keep us suppressed? But it's not them that's really actually keeping us right here. Is us.
It's us, man.
Because, prime example, if anybody in Starkville, Mississippi, I'm not going to say everything what I want to say because, you know, me and you say this in private. I'm not going to say it. Is anybody in Starkville, Mississippi, it's no way that you can dislike Frank Nichols. Now I can understand. You probably wanted his muscles, or you probably wanted his position, or you probably wanted his whatever. But I'm talking about a man who treated everybody fairly. Come on now. Then I can't fault you from doing your job. This man didn't work 30-some years to become, 20-some years, 25 plus years to become a chief and all this stuff just to lose his career trying to save you or your child. But people, it's no way, I done told you this before, there's no way that you should walk away from that position when you wanted to. Which you walked away on your own, but I'm just saying that the backlash. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the addiction of stress that was brought on by the community of people that you've been knowing all your life, been knowing your family, been knowing whatever. Nah, you don't do that. But like you say, for whatever reason that, we can get up. Man, if I can come from being, I started at about 15 years old, man, first time I went to an institution for driving a car, being involved in something. So my mind was already, there. But if I know if I can come from, man, you can do it, I can do it, everybody else can do it. We just come together and stop hating, stop talking about, anyway.
Hey, you know what, Bert, the thing about, speaking of leadership, this is one thing that I know for a fact. Most of it, well, I ain't gonna say most of it, but I'm gonna say a large percentage of the crimes that are committed in the Starkville area are committed by juveniles. I'm gonna show you how leadership works. A lot of them are being guided by adults, and they know if I get this kid to do it, this kid gonna get a spank on the hand. This kid gonna get 20, 30 chances. Whereas if I get caught doing that one time, so they got these kids out here doing this, man. Breaking in cars. You know when somebody come up to you on the streets and offer you an iPhone for $40 or something, you know for a fact they got to be hot. But it's okay because you benefit from it. But what's going to happen when it's your iPhone that they're stealing? Then you're going to be up there raising sand. That goes back to leadership again. You know what's right. Do right. I'm not saying you got to go up there and snitch on that kid. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you pull that to the side, or you pull that kid's parents to the side and say, what can we do to fix this? Because I know that he's out here doing this or she's out here doing this.
Or
But
you
we
can go,
rather
you can go to the, or you can go to the AKA so-called the dope boy. Hey man, don't do little John like that, man. You know,
yeah.
that kill it. And me and Tamika Hill
Hmm.
was talking about that when it was about 90, it was about 90, 94, 93, 94 when it's just anyway, man. They know what's going on. They can stop all that. We can stop all that stuff, man. But there's a lot of people that's in leadership areas. I mean, leadership that have businesses that's doing stuff around Starkville and know these kids, see these kids, won't say nothing to them, won't say nothing to their parents, won't do nothing to help the community, won't do nothing to
Mm.
be on the PTA board meeting, go to the Starkville Alderman board meeting, the October County board meeting, go to the school boards, go to all this, make your name and your opinion and everything known of how we are going to be treated, how our kids going to be treated. We can stop a lot of stuff and make sure who you voting for. Y'all remember November the 3rd, go out and vote. If you don't vote, you're gonna have 4 more years of dictatorship, you're gonna have 4 more years of bigotry, you're gonna have 4 more years of whatever. So it's on you. Don't come crying on Facebook talking about no what DT doing and he don't like us and I'm not telling you who to vote for. If you ain't got common sense to know what's going on or what he is about, that's on you, you know.
I tell you what, y'all, when I hear somebody say, it ain't gonna matter if I go up there and vote or not, they still gonna do what they want to do. I hate to hear that. It burns me up, man. Because attitudes like you, that right there, why we got a clown running this country.
Yeah.
Everybody matters, man. We had people die behind this stuff, man.
Hmm.
We had people die so you can have a right to vote, and then you choose not to use it.
Right. Because you uneducated. Hey man, I want to thank you again, brother. This Mississippi Vibes with Bert. I got my main man, Frank Nichols. We're gonna see each other again on the barbecue grill. You will go down. We had to postpone the event. It's not, I understand that, we have to make sure we have the right judges in place so it won't be any biased decisions because you're very popular. And they've been giving you trophies for your, subpar cooking. And I understand.
Hey, Bert, have you joined that group yet? Barbecue rubs and recipes or whatever.
Nah,
Oh yeah, you need to
you don't
join that.
you don't trick
They
them.
recognize
You don't trick them
they
to
rec-
believe you the man.
they recognize my talent because I load videos to that all the time, and I got my own following on that, bro. So hey, you and Don, but step y'all game up, man.
Now
They recognize.
I'm not worried about Dunn. I can't even see good. I know if I was totally blind, Dunn couldn't beat me. So, hey man, hey, don't spit the water out. But for real, Dunn gonna mess around and cook up his whole deep freezer trying to catch up to you. Dunn gonna mess around, cook up his whole deep freezer. Hey, check this out, man. This Mississippi. Go ahead.
The only way to get better is to do it, practice. And you know what? This postponement, mark my word now.
Right.
This postponement is going to help anybody out because he's actually out there. He's actually out there practicing. And you know what, man? I can't tell you the pounds and money when it comes to meat and money that I lost buying that I done messed up. And I ain't never told nobody.
Right.
But I had to learn.
Right.
Just looking at YouTube, man.
Oh yeah, he doing a great job now. I tell him, I text him and tell him it look good, but I ain't gonna say it on Facebook because I tell him it look good, but he doing a good job, man. Don has, then with this graphic, his commercials he be doing for us, man, it be wow. Don a very talented dude, man. Very
He
talented
is,
brother,
man.
good brother too, a good brother.
Yep.
He's got to know
He
Don.
is.
Yeah. Well, hey, I thank you, man. Day 3, Redemption Summit, leadership. We went in so many areas, but we came back to what our topic was, leadership. Got the president of Starkville, Mississippi, first ever African-American chief. He's so much more. He's man, I can't name all his accolades, And Hey, thank you, brother. We're gonna end it on that, man. I appreciate it.
Salute you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. God got something for you. And you know what? If I'm living to see it, bro, when you get to that point, I'm gonna be the first one to congratulate you, man.
Now you'll come to my house and we go celebrate and we go turn off all the cameras. Leave your cell phones in the car. Cause this is not for public use.
Hey,
But
bring me a good cigar, some yak, and I'm good.
I already know. I got you, man. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, man.
All right, take care. Peace.
All right, man. Love you.
All right, love
All
you
right.
too, bro. Peace.